Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What the Duck. We're here with episode 11 on this fine Tuesday afternoon. It is January 26th, 2016. We're back with another episode. We've got SUNSfan, Purge, SirActionSlacks, and of course myself, Zyori, for this episode. Boys, it's been 2.5 weeks since we sat down for one of these. We've had Captain's Draft on our plate. We've been pretty busy. SUNSfan is showing us his cat. Oh, it's Bucket.
He's cute. What's up, boys?
Monkey.
Shannon, we need more voiceovers for our intro video, so it's not just a Donald Duck having an orgasm every time, and I think we need you to record a few sound effects for us.
So that was the original idea. For those that don't know, there's going to be a different animal sound for pretty much every broadcast, and then we'll have a vote for which one people want to hear. Some of which will come from actual animals, others from Slacks.
To be fair, we've been slacking on our animal sound collection. Slacks, have you been practicing, by the way? Can you do a rhino?
What the fuck does a rhino sound?
Magnitude, dude.
That's pretty close.
All you have to do is open up Han and play Rampage. You got your rhino sound, Slacks.
Wow.
Cool Han jokes.
Way to bring up Han already, Shannon. Thanks for that.
I love it, bro.
Oh, God. Purge, how you do, man?
Pretty good. I'm having a lot of fun with Captain's Draft, getting settled, and excited to see how Shanghai Major turns out.
Yeah, absolutely. This podcast, we're going to talk about Tournament Madness. We've got a lot to go over. We're going to talk about Starladder, since Slacks was there in Belarus. We're going to talk about Captain's Draft, which has been ongoing. We're kind of in the break period right now, and then we're going to talk about MDL a little bit, which is brewing coming up this weekend, and then a couple of other little things, and then we'll see where the wind takes us. So Slacks, let's go all the way back. Let's talk Starladder, baby. It feels like old news now, but how was it? Eastern Europe, you traveled all by yourself. You were the Twitch chat reporter. Did you make any friends? Did you make any enemies? What went right? What went wrong? Give us the breakdown.
That was really interesting. I never saw a Starladder before, any of their productions, because I couldn't care less. But when I went there, very good. It was surprisingly tight-knit. I mean, it was well run by everybody. The Russian fans or not Russian, CIS fans. Very cool. Overall, it was just impressive. I hung out with the BTS crew a lot. Good guys. The biggest thing for me was the onstage interviews that they let me do. It was the weirdest thing in the world. I literally woke up one day. We were all eating breakfast. They're like, all right, who wants to do the onstage interview? And everyone's bitching and moaning about it. And I was like, I'll do it. They're like, okay. I was like, what do you mean, okay? They got a suit? Yeah, okay, you got it. So I had like 20 minutes to prepare. Went out there. It was terrifying, but it was incredible. So, yeah, I'll be eternally grateful to those guys for the production crew and them. Yeah.
After you were done, did it feel like it was easier than you had originally thought? Like, did you have that sigh of relief, like, okay, next time, now I know what to do, the first time nerves are over, or was it so terrifying? Was it like that treatment when a kid gets caught smoking cigarettes and he has to smoke a whole carton? Was it like that, where you were just traumatized after all the pressure? All right.
So, you know, like, when you have a nightmare, and, like, one of your nightmares, it's like, you know, you go to school naked and stuff, and some nightmare is, like, you're telling jokes in front of a stadium full of people and nobody laughs. Yeah. That was it in real life. Like, none of them spoke English. So I was like telling these jokes, and there was like 20,000 people sitting there, and just nothing. Nothing. And I was at the first time I was like, oh fuck. Like, and then after that it was like pretending that everyone in the crowd was naked. Like, I could say whatever I want. They don't know what the hell I'm saying. So I mean, it was great, man. It was really good. But yeah, I'm a fan of Starladder, man. Those guys, the production guys, are really cool guys. I might watch the tournament for the first time after this. So
were you actually nervous?
Are you kidding me? I was terrified. I've been on the internet in front of, like, 100,000 people or something, but those are virtual people. When you're like there in front of them,
virtual people aren't real.
Yeah, who knows? It's all view bots. But in real life, all right, I'll tell you how nervous I was. So I used to have stage fright when I was in high school.
Really? Wow.
If I had to give like an in-class presentation in front of like kids, my hands would shake like really bad, and I'd have to keep them in my pockets. I got over that, and it hasn't happened to me in years. And then I got up on that stage, and it was the first interview I had to do. I was trying to talk to PPD, and my hand was just freaking out. I had to like put it in my jacket pocket. It was not good. But yeah, man, it was crazy.
Good.
Have you guys ever done that? Like,
Like,
They
I
did
did the same thing at TI2 when I did interviews.
Really?
I think one of the first ones I did, it was long days or something. We stayed up till like 1 a.m. maybe the night before the tournament started. So I had a 5-hour energy, and my hands were shaking a little bit, and so were my legs. Same thing. But I think that was more energy drink than it was.
Yeah.
It was like energy drink plus a little bit of anxiety combined together made me shake. So yeah,
I think
similar thing.
when I get nervous, different things happen.
Gee, I can't imagine.
For TI4, when they told me I was doing, because I had a decent idea that I might do the All-Star game, but then I don't think they told me until the day of, or maybe it was like the day before. So it's just like this constant feeling like, oh my god. Like I wasn't too nervous, but then it just kept building up, and then the day of, I was just crapping my guts out the entire day. Like when I get nervous, I just crap my guts out constantly. And then, because I've never done anything like that before, so I get on stage, the moment I sit down, I'm fine. Like it's so weird. Like all these like irrational fears, it's like, who gives a shit?
I have that same
Nothing's
feeling.
different.
It's like that countdown before going live is the scariest part. And then once it starts, within 30 seconds, you kind of forget that the cameras are there and you just start talking and it all comes together. But that half an hour right before is absolutely the worst because there's usually not much to do. You just have to sit around and relax and just get mentally prepared, you know? But that's good, Slacks. I'm glad you had that experience in a foreign land, far, far away where...
Yeah,
you could.
It'll probably be my
forever.
only one, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I mean, it was it was a good experience, but yeah. But overall, I think it was a good tournament, and things I think could improve on maybe. The only thing I would say is the food. They wouldn't let us have any actual Belarusian food. We ate at the hotel, and they tried to feed us food that they thought we would like. So we had like these weird wet hot dogs, and at breakfast time, the only thing that was edible were chicken nuggets. I don't know why we were eating chicken nuggets at like 5 in the morning, but I fucking went ham on those things. Mountain of nugs.
Mountain of nugs. That's good.
What's a wet hot dog?
Oh, dude, it was
Were
nasty.
they like boiled and
just
they just
soggy and like?
Yeah, they were just like moist. And sometimes they gave us these sausages where when you cut into them, they went like shit out of them, and it made that noise. It was cool.
Delicious. I
Overall,
wonder if that's how like the Chinese casters and talent feel when they come to TI, and there's all of that Asian food there that they don't like. I mean, every time
I'm pretty sure they like it. That's all they eat.
No, last time they bought other food and brought it in. I remember one of the attendants was like, "Oh, is there something wrong with the food?" And they didn't really know what to say because I don't think they wanted to be rude, but they were like, "Yeah, it's fucking awful compared to this real food
I guess,
that we just
I mean,
bought."
they ate a lot of white rice, though, that's for sure. Like, there was white rice for breakfast, lunch, dinner, midnight snack. It's just constantly there when you're at TI.
Oh, yeah.
Hotel.
It's overwhelming.
How's that racist? That's what
rice.
They did.
All they did was eat rice. Those Asian. Jesus.
The crowd looked pretty insane, though, Slacks. The 2 Starladders that I went to, the crowd was not nearly that ferocious. One of them was at a DreamHack, the one that was in Romania.
I was there for that one.
Yeah. So that crowd was a little bit bigger, but the one before that, the last one they did in Kiev, the crowd was much smaller than what it looked like that you guys had in Belarus. It was kind of nuts to see that many people turn up.
Yeah, the crowd was very interesting. So it was a Counter-Strike and Dota event, and everyone told me there that it's kind of a selfie culture. Like they just want to have pictures. Well, no, they want to have like pictures with people, and they don't really care who it is.
Yeah.
So one of the best things about the entire event, they were like piranhas. Now, don't take that like the wrong way, but all the fans would be watching Dota, and as soon as someone made a mistake that they thought would be the end of the game, they were like, "Oh, that guy fucked up." The entire stadium would like run down to the front to try to get autographs. And that's got to be like the most stressful thing ever. You're playing a game, you die in your base, you look up, and just thousands of kids are like, "Oh, it's over. That guy made the fatal mistake." It's just, Jesus. But, yeah, man, I went down there. I was, for some reason, they're having me sign autographs and stuff when I was walking around. And I was down there for literally 30 to 45 minutes. And every time I do an autograph, I'm like, "Hey, what's your favorite hero?" And half the kids, not only did they have no idea who I was, but I'd be like, "What's your favorite hero?" And they're like, "Counter-Strike Go." And I would just draw a gun, and they'd be like, "Picture, sign." Like, you have literally no idea who I am, but they loved it, man. They were jazzed about it. So, whatever.
What gun did you draw?
I'm not good at drawing guns. I just drew like a rectangle with a trigger, and it was a rectangle, and a little trigger. And then I put a happy face on the barrel. So
did that land make you want to play Counter-Strike?
no, dude. I met Thorin, dude. No, definitely not.
Wow, did you actually get to meet him? Did you talk to
What
him?
was it like? What was it like?
Yeah, give us the lowdown.
The Counter-Strike guys were super interesting. A lot of the guys on the desk were like super nice and stuff. I didn't really get to talk to them that much, but anytime I did, I'd just be like, "Hey, great job on the panel," and they're like, "Hey, thank you, man. Your Dota stuff's real good." So it's super embarrassing because I'm sure you guys know all the people there. I had no idea who was what in the
I know like
Counter-Strike.
half of them, maybe.
I know a few
at best.
I mean,
Yeah.
at Starladder in Romania, I met Sadakist and some other guy whose name I can't remember. So
I met a CS:GO caster in Romania. It was Toby1 Kenobi.
yeah, I met him too. Yeah. You're right. I forgot about that.
He
Damn.
actually casted that event. That isn't even just like a
Yeah,
irrelevant
Fucked up.
thing.
yeah, it's true. Toby was there casting Counter-Strike.
Yeah, but I don't really have. I have two stories about Thorin, really. Well, everybody hates him. I'm cool with him. Just because I get his shtick. I mean, his shtick is to be an asshole. Cheers to you, dude. It's a good shtick. Let him do it. Hopefully it's a character. If it's not a character, I feel horrible for the guy. But yeah. After I went on one time, he tweeted after the first interview. He was like, "Why is Mickey Mouse doing the interviews for Dota?" And I was laughing my ass off. I was like, "That was pretty good."
Mickey Mouse.
So let's see. I was doing Twitch chat reports, and I went up to all the Counter-Strike guys, and I'm like, "Hey, Counter-Strike guys, how you doing?" And they're all smiling and stuff in the report, and then you look back, and Thor's just in the back. He's just like, "Fucking talk to me." I'm like, Jesus. So this whole time, everything's cool. We're at the airport leaving, and I see a bottle of absinthe, and it's got Vincent Van Gogh on it, like painted on it. And, he looks
Yeah.
kind of like Thor. And I was like, I got it, and I was like, "Yo, bro, I bought you a bottle of you. Here you go." He's just like, "Yeah, I guess that looks like me." Like, oh, fuck, dude, this guy is serious. And then later, I'm on my way home. I look on my Twitter, and it's like this picture of it, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for the bottle, Slacks. Happy face." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So the guy's a mystery. But
Maybe he's just
Yeah, I don't
really
know.
good at Mafia, Slacks.
I don't know. I'm fine with him, dude. I like that. I figure on the internet, you could be any person you want to be. In real life, if you're nice, you should be able to go on the internet and be a complete fucking tool bag. That's your choice. Live that alternate life. Go for it.
Okay.
So I'm a fan.
That's a nice positive spin on Thorin's thing. I know SUNSfan has been upset because he unfollowed him, and now he keeps getting retweeted, so you have to keep seeing him in your feed.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna follow him on Twitter.
Man,
Jesus.
so
I don't
usually,
follow him.
Usually if somebody annoys me and I feel obligated to follow them, I just mute them because they don't know that you're muting them, right? Like if you block them, they know.
Wait, Twitter
Yeah.
has a mute
I have
function
like,
that?
yeah, I have
Yeah,
like
there's
5
a-
people
And they can't
muted that
see
are
it?
just super annoying, and nobody will ever know who they
Yeah.
are.
I had to mute Draskell's Twitter when it got hacked. And
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna wait until like I know for sure.
Oh
that's-
crap! I think I unfollowed him when that
I
happened. I, need to
definitely
unfollow
followed
him.
that one.
Those
gotta
were some
give
of the
him-
best tweets he's ever made, dude.
Does he not have a Twitter anymore?
Now he gave up. I asked him,
Oh,
and he said Twitter
okay.
support sucks, so fuck that. Like, all right.
All right.
Guess Andy's done
See
with
ya.
Twitter for a while. Good.
He wasn't that. He didn't use it that much, anyways. I pretty much almost never saw tweets from him except for saying that he was streaming. So
People that tweet like 15 to 20 times a day are so annoying. Like honestly, you don't need to tweet that much.
I kind of agree.
So they get muted for me.
yeah, I usually a couple annoying tweets and I unfollow somebody. It takes a couple,
Wow.
but
Oh shit.
but
Goodbye.
if it's like if I only see them like once every like 3 days, but every tweet I see is just like extremely obnoxious, I'm like, all right, that's too much. Can't handle this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overdoing selfies is a big no-no on my feed, I think.
Gurg.
Talking about Gurg.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly, man. You guys were quick on that one right away. God, poor Gurg.
I enjoyed those though. I mean, you got to make fun of them. That was like
Yeah.
easy material.
In
he
retrospect,
had
I
a
kind
good
of
one
wish
the other
everybody
day,
just
too.
pumped the brakes a little bit because now he doesn't do selfies anymore at all. So I think we
No,
scared him off.
he did one where he was like snowboarding. It was like actually kind of a cool picture.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did see that one actually. That's good. Yeah, fuck Twitter. All right, so let's talk about Captain's Draft. So, Shannon,
Good
Captain's
segue.
Draft. How's it going? How you feeling? We've got the break here. Your team is playing against Stake in the lower bracket. What is it? Is it the 29th? Is that the date now for that match?
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, the
27th.
27th. My bad. That's highly anticipated. We've gotten a lot of tweets about.
That's why it's been delayed so much because it's so highly anticipated.
Yeah.
We're just like jerking people around.
You're just like building it up. You're like, oh, it's coming. Oh, it's
I'm
coming.
not gonna lie. I was hoping this would happen. I was not hoping that we'd go to the lower bracket, obviously, but I was really hoping that I'd be able to cast Cinderin at least once, and this is like the dream. Casting my team with Cinderin. Oh man! And people are like, "What if Cinderin beats you?" And like, the thing. Okay, so I think I've explained this before on What the Duck. If this is like the major, I'd be super sad. I wouldn't be casting my team to begin with, but for Captain's Draft. Who cares? It's freaking fun, man. If we lose, I'm gonna have fun casting at least. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be happy for Synderen, you know?
I noticed that when you casted them before, you weren't stressed out at all. It just felt like a normal cast. I thought I would be able to like make fun of you and like taunt you and stuff, but none of it happened.
Me too.
Like you just casted it super normally. You were just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, originally when this first came about, when was it? Elimination mode. You guys did not want me to cast it. I'm like, I really don't think it's a big deal, but I think because of like the quote unquote spotlight hate on me at the time, it probably made a little more sense.
Then,
but
yeah, it was much more Team SUNSfan by SUNSfan Studio.
not to say like Captain's Draft is as silly as elimination mode, because I think it's obviously a little bit more serious. But I think anything that's not a major, I'd be fine casting. I wouldn't have a problem.
I can see that. You've kept a cool demeanor so far, and of course we've had SirActionSlacks tearing it up.
That is the stupidest thing I have ever done.
They love it. The people love it, Slacks. Give them what they want.
That's saying a lot, bro.
Talk about how you felt going into it, because when we first started, we were like, "Oh, yeah, Stacks, you can do stats. It's gonna be fine." And you were like, "I have no fucking idea what I'm doing." We're like, "No, it's fine, man. Do it."
Okay, let me explain the situation here. So I get home from Russia, or CIS, whatever. Sorry, I get home. I have like 2 hours of sleep. I'm all jet lagged. And everybody, the first night I come home, people are telling me on Reddit that they want me to do the new Alliance movie. I've slept like 3 hours. And I just wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I start on this Alliance movie, and then I do stats. And I get like, 2 or 3 hours of sleep for the entire time I've been doing it. I don't even remember what I'm writing. It's like madness. It's like the writing of a fucking psychopath. And then everybody's digging it. What's wrong with you people? Can you answer me? Why? Why do you like it? I have no idea.
Dude,
what's wrong?
You compared all the Alliance members to major figures from Lord of the Rings. Like, how is that not gonna make people happy about watching them?
The stats,
he knows
dude.
that's genius.
Oh,
he thinks the
Stats,
stats.
of course, that's genius. I'm talking about the stats. Why do you like the stats? I don't even remember what I wrote. It was the lowest effort I have ever done on anything. It's like
because it's unique. That's why nobody else
does it.
does
It's like when you're streaming and someone gives you a big donation. And you literally haven't talked in like 30 minutes. You're just like, what the fuck was that? What? How do I replicate that? What did I do that you liked? It's mind-boggling. It breaks my heart.
Slacks, I think part of what people like about it is that they've never seen it before. Stats people tend to be pretty serious, and you're just making fun of the casters in the little stats box. People like the casters getting knocked off their horse a little bit by the stats guy just trolling them.
I guess so. I don't know. Stats people that will remain unnamed.
And
don't
it's
like
also
it
crosses
Stats
that
Mafia
bridge of
has
trolling.
sent me messages.
We've gotten a lot of messages of people being like, he just tagged the wrong Twitter. It's just like, yeah, I know. I think he knows too. That's one of the bits.
Yeah, I'd be more shocked if you actually spelled everything correctly once, but I mean, I'm not going to wait for that.
Did you do that on purpose? Okay.
That's all on purpose.
Yeah, okay.
I actually know how to spell, maybe. I don't know. After the first day, though, I actually did get angry messages from stats people that will remain nameless.
Gee, I can't imagine who it was.
Make a joke about our career.
All right, the drama can has been opened. Explain a little bit. You don't have to name names or anything.
Don't name names. It was just they were like, you're making it. Some people said they were like, please don't have any jokes about being a statsman. It's hard enough legitimizing ourselves. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you guys have a legitimate career? What are you doing?
That reminds me a lot of how casters rebelled a little bit when maybe like 3 years ago, somewhere around TI2, where people kind of felt like casting should just be serious. Yeah. And there was kind of some blowback. Everybody's fighting for views, and it became more of like some people do it casually, some people have their webcams on when they're casting games, which now I think is ridiculous because it shouldn't be about the casters, it should be about the players. But
right,
like it sounds like the same typical blowback. Somebody is doing something new that provides value. It's different value. It's comedy value. It's not actual stats, but the overall intention is to make more viewership and to make it more fun to watch. So I think it's just like typical blowback. Like you're never going to be able to make quality stats that are going to enhance the viewer perspective, but obviously you can tell jokes way better than them, which is totally fine because you guys provide different things. Just because they're done in the same avenue of sitting in the stats slot and pressing the stats buttons the same as they did doesn't mean that you should stop doing what you're doing and they should stop what they're doing. Like
it's just
it's that straightforward.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But it wasn't Nahaz, you fuckers. I'll tell you that. Quit spamming the Nahaz emote. You son of a bitch.
It was
That's
also
not Nahaz,
it was born It was
Sir
born from a
Speeds.
tournament that would make no sense to actually have a normal statsman anyway.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Synderen
that's a good
actually
point.
refused a statsman the first 2 seasons, and I was like, I mean, we can get one if we want. I really don't care either way, but he was very against it because it doesn't make sense. Like you can't even compare season to season. Like there's nothing to compare. I mean, the only stat maybe is something about a non-CM here that hasn't been picked yet, but like, or just pick rates, but that's just RNG for the most part. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole thing reminded me of Beyond the Summit. K-pop Tosis has this story that he loves retelling, and he's like, we worked our asses on Summit 4. We did all this stuff, hundreds of thousands of dollars of work, hours of stuff, and he said the #1 upvoted thing we had for the entire tournament is under somebody's name. Instead of putting caster, I put memer, and it had twice as many upvotes, twice as many views as anything else that we did. It's just like, that's the community, man. You do the stupidest, lowest effort shit, and sometimes they're like, yeah, it's the best. So, weird.
Ride the wave, Slacks.
Ride the
Ride
wave,
the
baby.
wave, baby. Yeah, there
That's
you
all
go.
we do. Anyway, your guys' I love Captain's Draft, dude. It's such casual. I mean, it's not like I have any stake in Captain's Draft. What do I? No, but the casting, I love casual casting. I love it. I think it's great, and I wish we could see more of it. These kind of tournaments like Summit, Captain's Draft, stuff like that, where you get to see that casual, fun time of everyone enjoying themselves. That's what I live for in Dota, man.
Yeah, I've been having a really good time with the games. It's just fun to hang out and shoot the shit a little bit, but theory crafting and still casting Dota, and still being serious about it, but also having a nice time. And you can't do that as much when you're talking about majors and regional qualifiers a lot of time, and you're trying to be competitive and make sure that you get casting gigs. Like it's hard to balance everything.
Yeah, I think it is really important to have a variety in content. The scene can get very stale if it's nothing but super serious, analytical, Blazer style casting all the time. That stuff is really good, and it's important to have that aspect, but it's also important to have fun. I mean, after all, we're playing a game. You know, you have to have that degree of keeping it light, keeping it entertaining. So, all right, let's look forward here, folks. Next big tournament, MDL. China is where it's going to be happening. It seems like everything is just happening over in the East. It's just that time of year where we've got MDL coming up. Of course, Shanghai's right around the corner. And then after that, we've got ESL Manila. Then we've got the qualifiers for Manila sometime in there. And then the major in Manila. So it's all Asia for the next, 4 months or so. But MDL should be pretty big. All the top teams are going to be there. None of us will be there, but I'm excited to watch it from home. Huh?
Yeah.
Woo.
Now that I'm not invited to the Shanghai Major, I'm very happy to say, finally, fuck China.
I'll
Fuck a
even
dick
say
with
that.
your shitty fucking internet firewall and your horrible team. Fuck you, China. Woo! God damn,
How
that
many
hold on to
was
that
so...
for a
were you
while.
just holding that in, or 5 or so? My God.
Oh, God. So happy.
Well,
Anyway, you can
condolences,
continue now.
Slacks. And you do
Oh,
bring
by
up
the way, Team Wings are a bunch of cheating assholes. Fuck you, Team Wings. Just kidding. Oh, that's another thing at Starladder. I met Team Wings.
you did. Oh,
They hate me. They hate
Oh,
me.
man.
really?
Their manager liked me, but I kept trying to come over to him, and I was like, "Hey, Team Wings, Wings!" And they're like, "No." And I had a dance. When they won their game, they were walking out, and I was like, "Spread your wings, yeah, Team Wings!" And
They weren't into it?
they were not in. They don't like that shit. Yeah, Team
Yeesh.
Wings are really nice though. They got a great manager though. I'm still a fan of Team Wings.
That's
Still.
good. That's good. You miss all the shots you don't take, Slacks. At least you try.
There you go.
But you do
Anyway.
bring up a good point. It was quite the drama, I guess, earlier last week with the invites. Some of it got leaked. I guess we still don't have an official announcement of who's actually going to Shanghai, but Red Eye not hosting it.
Whew.
Somewhat surprising.
James coming back.
James probably
Yeah.
hosting it. I think that tweet is serious. I don't know what to believe anymore, honestly. Who's going, who's not? I feel like we're just along for the Twitter ride.
It'll be
Yeah.
fun to see James host though. He obviously was one of the very few qualified people in the first couple TIs, and obviously Red Eye existed back then, and Chobro wasn't quite doing hosting then. I think he was doing more Korean translation and casting in Korea at the time, but
Yeah.
at least in the Dota scene, there wasn't really anybody at that point that was qualified, whereas you could put Shiver or Kadogai or Zyori into that position. You guys would do completely fine now. Back then, everybody was too new, I felt.
Yeah.
So not too surprising that he kind of carried everything the first two at TI2 and TI3. And was he at TI4 too? He did host for TI4, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, he did.
He did.
So he did quite a few in a row, and did quite a good job. So hopefully the banter is good. That's the thing that's going to be hardest to do and I think we also had a little bit of trouble with that Frankfurt as well. I think that's the panel banter is very difficult to have be funny while also having high level analysis, and
just put Slacks on it. That. You'll be done.
No. Well, that's the issue then. Slacks is like a fairly high MMR player, but I would say your belief and understanding of what leads to good things is weird. It's like
he's trying not to flame you really hard.
I know. No, you can do it, Purge. Come on, man.
No, I'm just saying. You
let it loose, Purge.
You wouldn't be like 4.7k MMR if you didn't have a decent ability to play the game. But I think your understanding behind your ability to play the game is okay, but not amazing. So if you don't have that, then it's hard to be an analyst.
Oh yeah. No.
So like you
he's
need
not
to
there
have...
to be an analyst though. He's there to liven up the analyst.
Yeah, but then if you throw Slacks on for one of the 4 positions and he makes jokes, then all he does is make jokes and it doesn't blend very well, and you can't have him on there all the time because then you need to have that seat for somebody else that's actually more analytical. So what you need is a perfect storm. You need somebody that's funny, analytical, and gonna make it interesting. But it's hard to find those people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a very small pool of people that know that much about Dota and are actually that genuinely funny and charismatic on camera. We've seen that problem with Pyrian Flax in the past, where it seems like orgs have hired him to say, okay, you're the funny guy, get on there, and they'll just throw him on at the beginning of day 2 and make a joke, funny guy, you and all the other serious guys. And it's really hard to be that one guy that's supposed to be the kind of court jester that loosens it up when everyone else is really, really serious. It doesn't blend, kind of like Purge said. I also feel like we took that Bruno James thing almost for granted back in the day. Like, those guys really have a good understanding of the game. Like, they're both very qualified to talk about high-level analysis, but they're genuinely funny, smart, creative people that can just come up with these really, like the no-legs strat and all this just kind of creative bullshit that adds to the storylines, even though it's, not quote-unquote serious. I don't know. I'm excited, man. I like Too Good hosting.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Red Eye as a host, but I always felt like it would be more fitting for somebody that's more entrenched in Dota throughout the entire year.
I would.
Even though James has been kind of MIA, he's still, a lot of people know him from Dota, so I'm pretty excited to see what he's going to do.
I think Red Eye still did very well despite his lower Dota knowledge and him not playing it primarily as his game. Yeah. I think he did really good. So a little surprised that he didn't get the gig, but who knows who made the decisions, and we don't necessarily know what went on behind closed doors. So I don't know, we'll see what the final talent list is. I'm a little surprised that it wasn't fully announced, because all of a sudden everybody on the same day, Toby did his usual thing. He's like, incoming talent invites, tweets, like to ruin the surprise. But there was only like 5 people that announced, I think. I was really surprised there wasn't going to be the whole roster leaked, but I guess they're just waiting. You know what it probably is? They're probably waiting for the compendium to get finished, and when the compendium's ready, that's when they'll probably announce. That'd be my guess. So maybe that's why they haven't announced yet.
Yeah. I think that's pretty likely. We still haven't seen that many majors yet, so we don't know. I mean, maybe Valve has kind of a plan to try and keep things different. They're going to switch it up. It's not just Red Eye's better or Too Good is better. It's just they're different, and they want to keep things changing so it doesn't get stale. I mean, that's a possibility as well, because they do have very different styles.
Are they going to have a compendium, do you think? I mean, the last one had nothing but flack.
Undoubtedly.
I don't know. I thought it was undeserved. I like the last compendium personally. It wasn't super heavy-handed. The only thing it was missing it was missing stat stuff, like you do predictions about like Divine Rapier's purchase. I don't give a shit about that. I've never filled that out and cared about it personally.
So what do you care about? The cosmetics?
It had super good cosmetics deals. It had scaling.
That's one of the biggest reasons that the market is terrible, is because of the compendium.
That's true, because they give so many good immortals and nothing else can even compare. And if you give out like 10 amazing immortals every quarter of the year, then how does anything else compete?
They can find a balance, but like TI should have the best items, and the other majors should have maybe something, but like it should be third party, no particles. If they're not going to do particles for other stuff, I mean, it's too much. It just breaks the market horribly.
I mean, there haven't been that many other compendiums, so it seems like I would be really surprised if they didn't do one.
If they add in Slacks' Pug, that'll probably sell really well.
I'll be behind it 100%. Now I remembered why I didn't get invited to the major. I forgot about the compendium story from Frankfurt.
The compendium story from Frankfurt. I don't think.
Yeah, did I ever tell you that? I was walking back to my hotel the last night of Frankfurt, and a Valve employee was like, "Hey man, here's a card for all your hard work." It had like 1,000 compendium points or whatever on it.
It was like 100 levels.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't need this, dude. And he's like, why you don't? And I was like, I didn't buy a compendium. Like, why you don't support esports? You don't like that? And I was like, nah, dude, I just don't buy shit from people that don't hire me. Not a good joke. It was not taken well. But I took it anyway. Thank you. It was a good compendium. Oh. No, but I don't know if they're gonna. There was a lot of backlash, not only about that, but they were mad that none of the sales went towards the prize pool.
No, that's better. People don't understand why they're complaining about that. That's better for the scene if it doesn't.
Yeah,
contribute.
the negative aspects are that if the prize pool can be raised every single time, and eventually if the prize pool is like less than TI or something like that, people might like see it as a scene dying, so there could be negativity there. Also, the fact that you don't want the majors to be a higher prize pool than TI, because then it makes your ideally best event of the year less prestigious because the real money would go there. So, and what if like the crowd turnout was low? The crowd turnout was low for the first like 4 or 5 days. If the crowd turnout's really low and the prize pool is amazing, then it's kind of the same thing. People like get weird feelings about the esports scene, or at least the Dota 2 scene. So I think it's fine. It was 3 million. They invited tons of people. The event was ran really well. There were some maybe some talent issues with the double hotel, but that was like just the hotels were full. I think they ran the thing well. The prize pool was solid. It was all around a really solid event, and I don't think it's weird that the contributions didn't contribute to the prize pool. Just because it's like that for every other TI and a lot of other smaller tournaments doesn't mean they have to do it again. Like
I guarantee you, I don't have any inside knowledge on it. I guarantee you that Valve regrets doing the prize pool contribution for
in the initial like what TI3.
Yeah, I think they wish that there was a cap, because eventually it's like Purge said, it's going to hit a point where it's going to be under the previous year, and that's when people are going to say it's dying and all that stuff. Like they have to continually just make things better every year, and that's like super hard to do.
Isn't there sort of a critical mass where like once you're at that 15, 20 million, whatever it is, like okay, we've hit that peak. Sure, it's a little bit less, but it's still an absurd amount of money. I mean, do you think that really starts like a mass exodus where people think Dota's a dying game because we only
read
raised 18
Reddit
million
lately,
instead of 20
Zyori?
million?
Have you read a site called Reddit?
I didn't know we were going to talk about the minorities of the scene, Shannon. My God.
Oh, the minorities that the company that develops the game caters to, 100%.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
But I mean, I agree completely, but
I think there will be some front page threads. People will be all whiny about it, and then very little will.
Well, you have to look at it this way: like if it's 18 million, and then let's say next year it's 15 million, and then next year it's 12 million. That's clear indication that the scene is not doing as well as it once was, right?
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Part of that might just be the market itself, but nobody's going to make those distinctions.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the other esports scenes also cap similarly. I mean, LCS and all the stuff that Riot does, the actual prize pools aren't that big. They're capped around 2 or 3 million. Smite did the same thing, high-res cap. They had a crowdfunding thing. They raised like 6 million or something. Now they have it capped at 2 because they want the money to be more spread out, so it's not just in one tournament.
I would be most interested in seeing if it ends up being significantly lower one of these years. Probably like this year, it'll probably be lower than 18 million is my guess. And then the next year, maybe even significantly lower, if Valve would ever contribute more than 25%.
Oh,
that's the big question mark.
That's the conspiracy, baby. It will never go lower. Valve makes billions a year. So it's just like, you know what happens? If it ever gets that low, they'll just be like, oh, big spike yesterday, guys. It went up 8 million. Whoa! And that's it. We'll never know. We don't know shit.
That's one of the problems with the crowdfunding as well, is that if you buy it, some people may be purchasing it in a small, like say, oh, I want these items. But 5% of me says that I'm supporting esports, which makes them very, very entitled to what Valve does with the money. If it's all secret and Valve's making like, $50 million from compendium sales or something ridiculous like that, they can choose to tell people about it. They don't have to. They can do whatever they want with the money, and there's no drama about it. But as soon as that number becomes public, which it does due to the crowdfunding, then all these people know how much Valve is making, and then they start trying to tell Valve how to run their business, which... Again, Valve doesn't do everything perfectly efficient. There is room for criticisms, but I think it makes people way too snarky about the whole prize pool as a whole is another downside to that method. I think it's been very good for like TI3, TI4, but TI5 was like, it's like getting to be an incredible amount of money, and it's making the community very polarized about it, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I like the amount of money being public as well though, just for the growth of the esports.
That's true.
I did a thing like, it makes it so serious, and bigger companies that can funnel money into esports, I mean, they look at that number, $18 million, holy shit.
Yeah.
And it makes it more legitimized. So While at the same time, I see where these problems are. I think that there's way too many positives of having that big chunk of change to not do it. I mean, another thing too, people love TI5 because every single team that made it to the international got a huge payout, no matter what place they put. And it's like this super positive thing of like, keep grinding, keep putting in your time in. You can still make $1 million even in like 8th place or whatever.
I mean, I still think having a $15 million tournament is a little bit too top heavy no matter how you spin it. That's no matter how you separate that prize pool distribution, the first team gets fuck you money. I mean, it's just an absurd. You go from being a struggling, grinding Dota player to I'm a millionaire basically over the course of 2 weeks if you win the tournament. And I just don't think that's that. I don't know how healthy that is, you know?
What are you talking about how healthy that is? That's what makes new players into Dota. You fucking, holy shit, if I get good at this game, I'll be a millionaire. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you can win that one tournament, but the grind to get there is really far. Like, there's a huge gap between the top, what is it, top 20 players or top 30 players, and then the, like, you know, top 150 to next 30 players. Like, there's a huge gap in between of that. I can place top 5 in a lot of the big tournaments versus, okay, you know, we're there, we're competing in the scene, but our salaries aren't that high. I mean, the drop-off is huge. If you
well, it's not just the prize pool for that one tournament either, because if you win TI or do really well at TI, that's an auto-invite to, like, a bunch of majors, a bunch of other tournaments. So,
right.
Yeah.
like, the next year, you're going to do pretty well, too, in all likelihood. But I don't know. There's pros and cons, and, I mean, I'm obviously on the side of the... Because I talk to a lot of workshop artists, and I know how effed... I'm trying not to cuss, by the way. I cuss once. So I've been cussing too much.
This new thing.
But
He's not
the market,
What is that?
yeah, the market's been just completely ruined by it's a bunch of things. It's Reborn, like not having a store and all bunch of problems with Reborn, less players, the majors and TI coming out with ridiculous items, especially TI. They came out with like because they had to beat last year's prize pool, and they came out with a ridiculous amount of like items that nobody could ever possibly make as third party.
Like 3 sets of immortals. Like
yeah, like incredibly
3 times
amazing items. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just that's some of the small reasons, like everything put together. It's just like the perfect storm to just make the market absolute trash right now. But it's gotten, I mean, it's gotten marginally better since December, since that update that they added the store button to the navigation. But like they still have a long ways to go.
It's slow and steady, but I'm a tournament organizer with Captain's Draft, and I couldn't figure out how to access the damn compendium until someone told me. I spent 10 minutes looking for it. It's just a lot of the stuff is just not as intuitive as Source 1 was in terms of finding, you know, sets that are in the store. Just I feel like I don't know what's popular, what's what. I feel like if I didn't know that chest contributed to the prize pool, I wouldn't know. Like I bought one, and it's not very obvious or intuitive unless you just know already, you know.
Right.
And it's tricky. I wish the interface was just a little more intuitive.
Reborn's garbage, dude. I'm
mean,
still on that train. Fuck Reborn.
They released it at a time where they felt like they had to release it because, I mean, I kind of understand their thought process. You can't just, like, soft launch something. Because it was originally soft launch for, like, how long was it? Like, it was before TI and then after TI, right? For a bit?
You're talking about Reborn?
Yeah.
It wasn't that long. It was like less. Actually, no, it was. It was like, oh, Reborn's there. People can play on it. Nobody fucking
played on it. And then you can't really fix bugs because not enough people are playing it. So you just got to force everybody to use it. So I totally understand that.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that they underestimated was just bringing parity to the client to make it equal to Source 1, which is so many freaking things. Like Compendium is just, like ours is the first third-party Compendium put in the game.
True.
Our guy had to essentially hack it into the game. Like Valve had to ask him how he did it because they didn't have any tools for him to be able to do it anyway. So it's really, like, Valve is an amazing company. Obviously, they're not perfect. Like Purge said, they only have X amount of employees, which really it's not many. I don't know how many they have right now in the Dota 2 team, and they always just switch to other games and stuff. I mean, working at Valve has got to be the dream. But from a Dota 2 perspective, it's showing the lack of people working on that dev team because there's so many things that still need to be done to get Reborn back to where the original client was.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but the replay support as well, just not being able to access Source 1 replays and Source 2 has been a bottleneck for many content creators out there, huh, Slacks?
God,
Hey.
I don't actually. I mean, just don't have Dota crash 4 times in a session for me, please. Anytime I click on anything, That's it. I would just make sure the game works. Don't have it crash constantly. That's all I want.
Oh, this is a good segue to the cleaning update.
Exactly.
Yes, that's right. Woo, good
So
segue.
how
That
much
was
of this
not on
stuff
purpose
is
either.
going to be fixed during the spring cleaning update. I like the idea of this, but reading that little post is very okay. This sounds good, but what kind of suggestions are going to be there, and what kind of suggestions are going to be implemented? Because obviously some things will be unrealistic to clean up or fix or whatever. I mean, I hope we see a noticeable difference after spring cleaning commences.
Well, I think it's gotten to a point where pretty much everybody's having some FPS issues. Like, my computer's an absolute beast, and it's like, I'm not complaining that I'm hitting 80 FPS, but for this ridiculous computer, it should be maxing out the FPS at 120 at the very least, or my hertz of the monitor, which is 144. And
I mean, I've been
it's
having
not.
frame dips as well.
I mean,
I can't
it's-
hold a constant 60, and same thing. I mean, my rig is more than enough to be able to do that. Well, on paper at least.
I think they can fix that. It's just about optimizing everything. I mean, I don't know anything about it, obviously, but
All right,
sounds like they can do it.
I've been a
Just use
pretty
those
negative
buzzwords.
Nancy this podcast, so allow me to do a little bit of sucking up. What a lucky community we are to go out there and say, hey, we really want this update, we want some bug fixing, all that stuff, and then what do the people that have our game do? They post in, they say, you know what, let's do it, post us your bugs. What other game community that's so big would just have the time and energy to be like, you know what, yeah, let's fix the bugs? That's freaking awesome. Kudos to you, Valve, for going out there and being like, we're going to do it. We're at least going to try. We're at least going to make the illusion that we're going to try and not actually do it, but we'll have the update
All right,
out
I'm
there.
gonna
So
I'm gonna
good
be
luck.
the middleman here. I'm not gonna be the devil's advocate. I'm gonna be in the middle. So,
Okay.
Valve has a lot they can do to improve on their communication. It's really bad, but if you guys go back, maybe not everybody can relate. If you go back 10 years, 1.6 Counter-Strike 1.6 Counter-Strike Source, the communication was literally non-existent. So they've come a long way, but
Right.
there's definitely still room for improvement.
Yep.
And I think like a community manager actually would be pretty good, but I don't know if they've ever considered
That
that or
person
not.
would be assassinated. They
Yeah.
would never
Maybe.
make anyone
Hey,
happy.
they catch all the bullets though, you know.
I guess. If there was ever actually a community ambassador for Valve, someone would literally kill them. Like, just for no reason. Valve fans are so passionate.
It would
He'd
be a tough
like,
job.
in TF2, my hat is glitched. Nyah! Like, it's fucking... Valve fans are literally terrifying. So I think it's a safety issue why there's none. It would have to be like Ice Frog. He would have to be like
No,
Fire Toad.
he
And
got
just,
he got
no one
dumped
knows
on
who he is.
just by posting his cats or whatever it was, right? Like, I'm
Exactly,
so sad
right?
about that. I want to see his cats,
Yeah,
man.
dumped on? Why?
This was a long time ago. It was on
He
the
posted his pictures of his new cat on his Weibo
Weibo.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Weibo, however
No,
you
it was
say it. And
Play Dota, right? Play Dota forum.
he like made a post about it, and people got mad that he wasn't working on the new patch. That he posted anything irrelevant to Dota. They're like, get back to work, you know.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Welcome to the
man.
life of every personality. They have to ignore the minority,
That's
right?
awful.
It's tough to do.
I want to hear
Yeah.
about his cats. I want to know what kind of cat Ice Frog has.
You're too late. You want to hear about his cats? Now you got to go on Weeaboo. He hates us.
Weeaboo.
Weeaboo.
I
Yeah.
assume
Whatever
that
it's
that
called.
was like one of the things that drew him away from wanting to even like be public, because
I do find it odd that he posts publicly in Chinese, though.
Weeaboo.
yeah, he's
mean-
pretty entrenched in the Chinese scene.
To my knowledge, he's always he basically developed. I don't know. I don't know how, if when he learned or if this was necessarily, but the rumors are basically that he learned Chinese because there's such a large Dota playing Chinese population. So he's it's part of the scene. They also respect him, I'm sure, because they know that he's the guy that was at the head of it for so long. So why not be empathetic towards that community as well? You don't just ignore them. Kind of like, I don't know. The two scenes are very separate right now. I feel like the Chinese scene and the Western scene. Like I feel like the English personalities, they kind of know some of the Russians, like 30-40%, but I don't know any of the Chinese casters. Never say anything to them. They never say hi to us.
Yeah.
Just totally standard, you know?
Wait,
Like,
isn't
it's
there
very
one
separate.
one caster is like a letter, right? What letter was it? Damn,
I mean,
already
BC.
forgotten it.
That's like their main popular guy. Like the equivalent of Velat is BC, I think.
It's what?
BC.
B?
Your mic is cutting.
Okay.
Like the letter B.
ABC. BC.
Did I
Okay.
ever tell you guys about how much I love China? What a great scene. I mean, those guys are awesome. Literally love the hard work, the dedication. I can't wait for the major, man. It's going to be great.
You know, when I was in
Yep.
what city was I in? Jesus, I just don't want to remember anymore. When I was in China in that
I forget.
not so good city. Well, wow, I can't remember.
Was that for DAC?
For WCA?
Okay.
Because DAC we didn't go. We went to LA. Like two small children in the hotel came up to me, and they came up to me like, "Nice to meet you."
Oh,
And they shook my hand, and I'm like,
Jesus.
"Wait, do they know who I am?" And like, I go quickly run through my head, and like, there's no way they know who I am because YouTube is banned in China. I think they either think that I'm Santa Claus, or
They
they've
don't do
never met a
Christmas,
white
dude.
guy before in their life. That's why they're shaking my hand. I was super
What the
confused. Everybody was
fuck are you
laughing, and I
talking about?
didn't understand what was going on. This
is
is going to
the
be something that's stuck.
weirdest.
It's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. I will never know why those two cuddly kids shook my hand.
It's not that weird, dude. When I was in Korea, people would say English words to me occasionally just on the street, and it was very clear that they knew a couple English words and they just wanted to say hi because I was a white guy.
So it's
Like,
because I was white then.
Yeah,
Probably.
for sure. Like they said English to you. They literally used the little English that they knew, and they used it on somebody that they knew. Like, why would you? If you're like sitting in school and you're surrounded by monoculture, like all the same people as you basically, and you see somebody in a language that you've been learning, like of course you're gonna use that language on them.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
little
gonna
kids
stick
would
with
say
the
hi
Santa
to me,
Claus.
and then they'd all giggle and shit, and then they'd be like hello, and they'd freak out,
Ugh.
and then I would walk away. It was that simple, you know.
Oh wow. I had two experiences like that. When I was in China, I was sitting in the hotel lobby with Shiver, and a guy came up to her and said, "Hello, lady. You are very tall." And she said, "Yeah." And he said, Are you Dutch?" And she said, "Actually, I am." And he said, "Oh, okay. I'm a professor. I used to teach in the Netherlands." And she was just kind of like, "Oh, cool." And then he talked to her for a few more minutes and then just left, and that was it. And I don't know, I think he said that she was beautiful or something. But it was very weird. I've never heard an opening line like that. "Hello, lady. You are very tall."
That's awesome.
I am
I'm
indeed,
gonna use
sir. That's good.
Hello, lady. You
That
are
would
very
have been
short.
way more negative if he hadn't actually been to the Netherlands and didn't correctly guess her.
Exactly. I
Their
was like,
country of
man,
origin.
this guy, he
you
was
from
spot
Pakistan?
on. Tall girl from the Netherlands. He knew it. He's
That's pretty good. Yeah.
eagle eye, you know? If he was wrong, it would have been awkward, but it was very cute. So, yeah. It's good.
Like it.
What,
So what the hell were we talking about? I forgot.
I don't remember. Something with
Face.
China and you and
How do you
Gem
guys think
TD.
how do you think that the major's gonna go? Shanghai.
it's going to be awesome, dude. What are you talking
I'm
about?
scared. I don't know how it's gonna go, man. I have no idea.
You know, I have
think
one
it's gonna
big
be
question mark with both MDL and Shanghai.
Yeah.
How do you guys think OG's gonna do it? Have they played one match in like 3 months? Honestly.
I saw Crit tweet about it today. He basically said we have a lot of matches today and soon, and excited to get back into it. And I don't know,
Alright.
who knows?
Tell me, I'm not saying they're gonna be bad, but is it possible that they are just complete trash from not playing for so long?
I mean, I'm sure
OG?
they've been playing Dota. Just
Well,
not
of course, but
publicly.
just no matches, right? Does that make a big difference, you think?
I don't think they'll be complete trash. The
I
last
mean-
thing they played in was the Summit 4, by the way. They have not had a match on record since December 12th.
I feel like pretty
That was
much
before
every
the
team that comes off of a win will get worse afterwards because they're going to relax. They've got money in the bank. Their desire to win is a little faded. I mean, we saw it happen with EG. I think it could happen with OG, especially because they weren't the favorites to win the tournament going in. They clearly played better than anybody else during the tournament, but I don't know if they're the... I don't know. I think they're going to dip a little bit below that level for sure compared to where they used to be.
Should be interesting, though.
Yeah, that's a
I
really
mean-
good question. I don't know.
As a team owner, this is something I've learned. I've talked to Purge about this before. Maybe it was on, I can't remember where it was, but the fact that I'm trying to get used to this, the fact that like pubbing is actually practice. Because back in the day, for me, like different game, of course, but Counter-Strike, completely different. You can't equate the two whatsoever to scrims and practice, or scrims and pubbing. They're completely different. And then the same concept goes towards if you just don't play matches and you just scrim or pub, like part of me wants them, like first of all, I'm a huge fan of OG. I love the players. No Tail's like my favorite player of all time. Part of me is hoping that they don't do too well because then it'll just, everybody's going to take this strategy of just not practicing. You know, it's very weird for me. It's very foreign concept.
I don't think that that's going to be the result of that. I mean, EG used to not
well, okay, if
do that
they're
all the
not,
time.
exactly. I feel like that's a problem. That's one team, and then other teams are trying to emulate them, and they can't. Like my team, for example, trying to emulate what they do, and you can't. it's just completely different for every individual and every team. You know, like some teams can get away with it. Like EG before TI5, they played C-Deck over and over and over, and guess what? They got both of them got top 2 at TI.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they didn't practice. Like Secret, on the other hand, I heard didn't scrim at all. Period.
Yeah.
And they got like 8th or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
That was probably roster issues. Like
Well,
drama.
it's not. Yeah, it's not like you can't just. It's not black and white. Right? You can't just say that one thing. But obviously, it's a combination. I'm sure.
Well, one thing I'd say against that is that pubs nowadays are better than pubs were in the past, and I don't know what matchmaking or pubs were like in CS:GO, but even the difference between pubs now in Dota 2 when MMR exists and when they didn't exist is massively different. Like everybody tries way harder in ranked. Like everybody tries when they play solo ranked, pretty much. Even team rank, some people try really hard. Like in team rank, that's where I screw around in random. But in the past, it was all the same. You press the find match button and you see what you get. So like all the games are more balanced. Everybody's more accurately placed to how good they are, which means you're going to get more balanced games. And you're going to be more likely to be in a situation where you have to try really hard to win, which can give you good practice.
Yeah, I think like the reason I love Dota and I became obsessed with it is because I was obviously first into Counter-Strike, and I can look at both games and say they're very similar, right? You need great chemistry, at least that's what I thought. But like in Counter-Strike, if you pub, right? If you pub or do deathmatch, it's just mechanical practice. You're just practicing your aim. That's it. You need to practice with your team a lot to get the chemistry down. In Dota, it doesn't seem like that is necessarily the case, because if you're playing matchmaking, it's basically mechanical skill. Like you're working with a team, but it's not people you're playing with in matches, right? The only time you get that is in actual matches or in scrims, which teams have been doing a lot less lately. So that's the part that's really weird for me to think about, because I always equated CS and Dota as being basically the same type of game, just different genres, right? Now it's showing that's not quite the case. Like you don't maybe need as much chemistry for whatever
You're missing other things that you get out of solo queue. It's not just your mechanical skill, it's also your game theory, what item builds you think are good, practicing those item builds, which I guess is more mechanic. You get experience against a wide variety of heroes. That way, if you do play against them in a random pro tournament, it's not like you're going to be caught completely off guard. There's like a lot of good things that you get out of a pub that are more than just... Plus, you experience more situations that are going to be very weird, like dual off lanes or getting pressured in a certain way. Obviously, it's not going to be as efficient as it will be in a pro game, but there's tons of things you can learn in pubs without your team that will still make you a better player.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying, for me, it's just weird to think about the fact that you don't necessarily have to even play with your team to be a good team. You know what I mean? Like for me, that's just super weird.
That's weird, but it makes a lot of sense, though, too. I mean, because Dota 2 is a game based on unique strategies, different ways of thinking, and breaking up the team a little bit and having them go out there kind of in the wild to see what other people are doing and stuff like that, and then bring it back home. That seems like it's pretty effective, but at the same time, I see where you're coming with the team has to learn to work together and stuff. But, I mean, really, how much... You're a manager. How much does working together as a team, how much of an impact does that have, SUNSfan? Like, do they have to...
I have no idea.
Each other's strengths, or can you just basically swap out people?
Doesn't
I mean, a lot of it is... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that kind of happen over time a little bit? I mean, Dota has been around long enough now that there is this group of players that have been playing for a really long time, and they've played with a lot of other players that are on competing teams at some point in the past. So a lot of them have these kind of relationships and friendships that have been going for a long time. So you can spend time playing the game by yourself, and you don't have to... It's not like you're joining a new team of complete strangers. You know, so the longer you're in the scene, the more of that foundation you have. So the easier it is to play isolated and still be able to work with your team. I mean, I think, isn't that part of the evolution of the scene over time?
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I mean, again, like I can only compare it to Counter-Strike because that's what I've always known, right? And I'm just, now that I'm more entrenched in things, I'm seeing like bigger differences between the two games. Like communication, although important in Dota, is much more important in Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike practice time is much more important because you literally have to sit in a server, practice smokes with your team. You have to practice strategies. You name your strategies. Like, there's so many differences that I can see now that I didn't see way back when.
One of the major differences is Counter-Strike is boring and stupid, whereas Dota is fun and engaging.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with the current iteration of Counter-Strike, but we won't get into that.
Oh, damn!
Yeah, that's a conversation for another day, boys. So looking at the groups here, MDL, we're getting close to the end of this podcast here. I just want to wrap up this conversation before we move on to our final points. EG, Vici, OG, Newbie, and Spirit are Group A, and it'll be Secret, eHome, LGD, Complexity, and Mineski in Group B.
Before we move on, I'm very interested. When I said,
Please.
what do you guys think of Shanghai? Mr. Purge said you were worried about it. Can you elaborate? I think this will be a good conversation.
Well, historically, some of the people in this call even can say that Chinese ran tournaments don't always go very well.
No!
And
You stop, Purge!
Even DAC looked okay from a spectator experience, but even the people that were at that LAN said that it was kind of a shit show sometimes. So I thought that was a successful one, but if people behind the scenes are saying negative things, then it's a really bad sign. So I'm scared that with it being a Valve mostly hands-off tournament, similar to how Frankfurt Major was, is it going to be successful? And I think that just seems that they clearly have some issues running tournaments, and the trend is happening, and I'm scared that it's going to suck, or that it'll be drama-filled, or a lot of people are going to complain privately, all that stuff.
I mean, I'm going to put this on record that although I understand why they're putting one in China, they should, honestly. They need to fix this stuff if there's going to be issues, but I don't want to get into Manila. I am just super sad that Singapore doesn't have one, because I didn't get to go to Nanyang, but Nikki and the team went, and it's like one of the best LAN experiences they've had. Like, they were treated really well. It was very well organized. It just sounds like Singapore, even though the funny thing is, wasn't that run by a Chinese organization? That's the ironic part about it all. That's what doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what's the difference, you know? But Singapore just sounded like a dream. Yeah,
I mean, it's a really nice city. If you go back to DAC and you recall the blowback that BTS got from choosing to do that broadcast from remotely, and choice is sort of an odd word to use there. I guess forced, however it turned out being. There was a lot of negative PR around that, but the main concern was everybody gets to China and then we don't have a stream that works, and we're all just there and like trying to broadcast in Dota TV or something. And part of that issue was, give us a list of gear that we're going to have. Tell us the cameras, tell us this, like give us the specs on the setup so we know that we have a setup there that is going to work. And if you can't provide that, then we'd rather just stay home and make sure that this broadcast will actually work and we can at least cover the games. That was the thought process. And that's very rational. And I think that's a really serious risk that a lot of spectators don't realize. Like the complications with the Chinese firewall and the extreme language barrier. China is one of few countries that there is not a lot of English at all. Like, you need someone with you that is bilingual, or you just can't communicate with people. You go to Ukraine and there are at least some people that speak English. There was not much crossover when I was in China for DAC. So it's really hard to solve like technical issues on the fly, or communicate with producers, or, asking for just, specific cabling, that kind of stuff. It's really hard to communicate detailed technical specifications when there's language barrier. And that seems to never be talked about at all. And I mean, even look at the whole thing with Dreyich. They said he couldn't go because they didn't have enough internet. What is that?
Is that what they said?
Basically, sorry, we have internet limitations. We can't make room for Sweden. And then they realize, okay, wait, this is bullshit. Now I guess that his spot has been back reserved and he's doing a donation drive or whatever. But it's just, I don't know. That's
what you got? He's going $5,000 in 24 hours. Good
oh, really? He raised it already? Wow.
It was done in 24, baby.
Whew. I'm glad,
They
man.
love him over there in the Swedes.
Yeah.
Those Swedes are crazy about him. That's good. Well, as somebody who's not going to the event, I hope it's a shit show. So that's my.
So afterwards, they can be like, you know what would have made this panel way better? Throwing somebody like Slacks on in the fourth spot.
I hope it burns in a fireball.
Who needs 3 analysts? We could have 2 analysts and Slacks. It'll be way better that way.
Why do you like this to me, Purge? Get off my ass, Purge.
I'm advocating for you. Maybe the panel will lack banter. Maybe it'll just be James doing good banter. Who knows? Yeah. If that's the case in the banter,
James doing banter with himself.
Like it's happened before, Like
it has happened before.
I would actually like to see a panel with Slacks and James on it. I'd like to see what kind of mud James would throw Slacks' way.
I'm scared. I've actually never seen anything James has done. I'm too new. I actually started to get into Pro Dota around TI4. That was the first event I ever went to.
He did TI4 though, right?
That's where you took my autograph line leavings, right? Remember?
That's right, Purge. I was terrified of you, dude. I was standing next to Purge, and some people recognized me, and they left from Purge's line to me, and they didn't really know who I was. And Purge is like, who is that over there?
Like, who the fuck? It's like, why does this guy have a line? I don't know who he is. I thought I knew everybody in the Dota scene.
No, but I've heard the legends of him, so I'm pretty excited to see what he's all about and all that jazz. I mean, I know him personally, but the weird thing where
I know him
people,
personally, but I never
don't...
watched any of that shit that he did in the past. So
it's true though. I don't got time to fucking look up TI2 and shit. What do I care about that? So I'm pretty pumped to see what he's all about and why everyone loves him so much. It'll be exciting.
I'm sure you'll find out, Slacks. I'm sure you will. So,
Okay.
all right. I just want to mention here on the notes, ESPN has officially moved into esports. Is anyone excited? Is anyone happy about this? Does anybody care about this? Does this matter for our scene?
Do you guys want to go first, or 'cause I have...
My answer is I don't know, because I remember. I feel so old. Nobody knows any of my references. Does anybody
go
know
ahead.
what the CGS was?
Nope.
Tell us about it, Grandpa.
It was
really.
a DirecTV tournament.
Oh, that one.
That was
yeah.
supposed to be like it was
2006?
the first.
Something like that?
Was it
2007 maybe?
Maybe something around there. It was basically Counter-Strike was the main game, but it was combined. Like these teams would draft their like their players, but it would Counter-Strike, FIFA, Dead or Alive. Like they combine all these games and they make some point system. It was an absolute disaster. I mean, they had for Counter-Strike they had DJ Wheat as the main caster, and then the analyst, which DJ Wheat's fine, and then the analyst, and I love this guy, but Fatality. He never played Counter-Strike a day in his goddamn life. I cussed, I'm sorry. Never played a day in his gosh darn life, and it was an absolute disaster. It was 2 seasons. It was like the most money for a tournament at the time, I think. It was the first time it was on like national television, although is DirecTV considered national television? I don't know. And it was
national,
just like
not
before its time, and it was horribly organized. Like that's the main issue. So ESPN, they're doing tournaments of their own, and it's Counter-Strike, right? FPS games at least.
Yeah.
I don't know. I cautiously optimistic. I mean, I hope it does well.
I mean, I feel
It
like
could be good.
I've been in esports for about 5.5 years, and the first 3 years of that was spent just talking to people about how exciting it'll be that day we break through to the mainstream and we make it on TV. And now we've gotten to this point where it seems like YouTube and new media and all this streaming shit, like the numbers are rivaling traditional media so much that I'm starting to switch sides and feel like, do we really need TV? Like, I don't have cable. I'm starting. The list of people I know that even have cable is diminishing so quickly.
I have it, bro.
You do.
Damn.
You need that HGTV.
The only reason I have it is because of the Suns games, which I don't even watch this year because they're so bad. Because you
This
can't
is
watch basketball without cable.
I hear what you're saying, Zyori, but I have what I think is not a popular opinion, and I think that it is important to have it mainstream because it legitimizes it in the minds and hearts of a bunch of people that don't give a shit.
That's true.
And that's what's important. I mean, I've been doing Dota stuff a long time, like, for, 2 years. Jesus, that's a long time. But no, what I meant to say is I've been doing Dota stuff for a long time, and my parents, my friends, all that stuff, they still had no idea what it was. And so many people, just after that EG spot on ESPN during TI4, I mean, it just legitimized it so much. They're like, oh, I saw that thing about, what team was that? Evil Geniuses? And even if it's not good, the fact that it's being spread to a wider audience make it seem like it's not... I mean, we know all the facts about it. $18 million prize pool, all this shit. But introducing it to people that don't know increases not only their appreciation, but maybe the fan base, maybe the desire for it. And even if it's not a good product, instilling that desire to make people want to go learn about it, I think is super important enough. But
I could agree with that. I definitely don't think it hurts, but I don't consider it the cataclysmic event that legitimizes esports anymore. I think it's a great bonus. I'm glad it's happening. I think it does extend the reach, but I don't think that's the make it or it's not like we made it now, guys. Esports is finally on ESPN. Slasher's done it. My hero, it's congratulations. I'm okay with it.
all right, what do you think, Purge?
I don't know. I don't think it matters that much, honestly. It's kind of cool. Like Slacks' points, I guess it legitimizes it for my grandpa. But my grandpa also kind of likes Donald Trump right now, so I don't know if that really makes that big of a difference. Like I don't think it matters that much. I think I see it more as ESPN saying, well, we're kind of losing sales on TV, and this is something that is gonna have a market share someday, and let's throw money at it and have it there. That way, if it happens to get absolutely big and it does become the new line of sports, then we'll be prepared for it. So I think they're finally ready to buy into that. So I don't think that's so weird. And like somebody else said about how big just general internet talent is getting, if you look at like Vine stars and like YouTubers and stuff, they're just as big, if not bigger, than some celebrities right now. some really, really popular internet people that aren't even involved in gaming, for example, you know, they've got millions of they've got millions of Twitter followers, which is more than a lot of celebrities. So I think it's just kind of a reflection of how the world is changing to be much more internet focused, and as we all grow up and the older people die off, it's just going to be more focused to that.
I have some free advice for ESPN.
As they die off.
What's ahead?
Okay, that was the
this is
very
gonna,
rude way to say it.
Well, that's true. Our generation is going to take over, right? Essentially what you're saying. But ESPN, I feel like they don't have any idea what they're doing in general. Just with this is going to be a bit of a tangent, and a lot of you won't care because it's sports. But
no,
if they want to get, if they want to entrench themselves in this scene, they need to get more into the streaming and web content. Like if I want to watch from a basketball perspective, I want to watch a highlight of the Suns game. Right now, I go to ESPN, I watch literally a 1-minute highlight where they show the other team the entire time. Like, it is absolutely embarrassing that is their godforsaken content. I should be able to watch SportsCenter on my computer easily. I think they just added an app. They're finally starting to get it, but my God, they've been way behind the times. It's sickening.
So you pay for a subscriber or whatever. You pay to watch it on your TV, but the only way for you to watch it is to literally tune in live, right? There's like no
well,
VODs or anything.
I can DVR it, but like I don't bother.
And that's getting around the fact, that's not even using their resources
right
to watch their program, using like a third-party resource that in some ways really hurts their model. Like instead they could take clips and VODs, which is like completely basic for us because we've been doing it for 4 years, take VODs of their fucking content, run an ad on it, and make money from you wanting to watch their content. And instead they just don't do that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, you guys are looking at this from a position of somebody who's entrenched in this already. I mean, this is all second nature to you and all that jazz. But the majority of people out there in the world aren't internet savvy. It's just a sad fact. It's true. My girlfriend's friends, they buy CDs of Taylor Swift, like physical CDs. They go download it, they can go listen on YouTube. Doesn't matter. They want to do that. My parents watch TV. I mean, most of us, we've been tainted by knowing all this shit. I mean, the majority of people have no idea. So that's why I think having this on that mainstream is so beneficial.
And I think it's also not just as simple as, oh, they don't do it because they haven't figured it out yet. I think some of it has to do with archaic contracts and frameworks from the TV industry. Like the old, traditional media knows that TVs and cable subscription, all that stuff is dying. Like the numbers have been down year after year over the last decade, right? So I think there has to be contractual obligations and conflicts over the rights of where things can be shown and streamed, and I mean all that stuff is just amplified as you move up the ladder from esports to mainstream media. So
yeah, I'd agree. It's the same thing with trying to watch Game of Thrones online. Like when the first 2 seasons came out, you literally couldn't pay anybody to watch their episodes online. The only way was to wait to either watch them on HBO, which required you to purchase like an extra cable package, or you'd have to steal from the internet, or you'd have to
have a friend.
There wasn't or have a friend.
Yeah.
Now you can eventually finally pay to get like HBO Go to watch Game of Thrones, but before it literally wasn't possible. If you'd had no cable, you're like, well, I'm not going to spend $150 a month to watch Game of Thrones live on TV, obviously. So I think I agree. Yeah. It is contractual obligations.
Yeah.
I just want Noob from UA to start stealing stuff from ESPN. That's what I'm waiting for. That's gonna be so sick.
It's gonna come full
with like the intros and everything, and just
gonna go from Shannon's mortal enemy to his best friend. Like, thank fucking God for Noob from UA. I can finally watch all my son's games from my computer. Woohoo!
I still follow him. He doesn't follow me back.
Oh, that's hard.
Did he unfollow you?
That's
or?
Harsh.
Yeah, he unfollowed me.
Oh.
I always followed him too.
You're gonna have to confront him at TI6, dude. You're gonna have to talk to him, patch it over.
Somebody introduced themselves as him last TI, so I already thought I got introduced to him, but I guess it was a fake.
Dude, yeah, you got to be careful with that. Somebody did that at TI5 as well. They're like, oh yeah, this is Shibby or something, and I was like, oh, nice to meet you, and they were like, wait, you actually know who Shibby is? That's not actually Shibby, and I was like, why the fuck would you do that? Like,
why would you do that?
Yeah, that's really weird.
I'm just so confused.
Grant did a mini version of that to me at TI4. He waited in line for my autograph and told me he was my biggest fan. And I didn't know what he looked like. So I shook his hand and went, cool, nice to meet you. Yeah, and then every time he saw me, he made that like, yeah, what's up, #1. And I didn't know until after the event. And I felt like
that's such a Grant thing to do.
Asshole.
Grant is actually really funny. He does some high-level troll shit like that. It's
yeah,
good.
I got next leveled. I definitely... Oof.
You guys ever talk to like one of your fans? They just like come up and they're like, "Hey, can I get a picture and stuff?" And they kind of talk to you for a little bit, for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. and then you have no idea who they are. And then towards the end of the conversation, they're like walking away, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, I'm blah blah blah." And it's like a guy that you talk to every day. You've known him this whole time. And you're like, "Why the fuck didn't you start with that?" Listen to me out there. If you meet me, start with your internet name. Don't make me think that you're some random fucking guy I never met, and then while you're walking away, be like, "I've known you for 12 months," and then you disappear into the crowd. What the fuck? Sorry.
You read the names of the people in your Twitch chat?
I love them, dude. I can name off 100 of them right now. Easy peasy.
When I was streaming a lot and I had like 50 subs, I knew there like at TI when people came up to me and said their name, I think I knew all of the subscribers right away. I at least knew those names, but that's about it. I mean, we're also small time compared to you, Purge. I know you've got millions of fans.
The Purge is just another face in the crowd. He don't give a fuck. That face. I'm just kidding.
No, I was kidding. I know some of my subs and things like that, but it is a little bit harder to. I'm not very good with text-based stuff. I'm very good visually, so that's probably part of it for me as well. If I saw them in person, then yeah, like I'll see people at TIs and I'll remember their face from previous TIs, for example. Like I remember that all the time. I'll be like, "Oh, I think I saw you before. I met you before." But actual text-based stuff, I don't remember very much. So I'm surprised.
I remember faces sometimes, but I get the wires crossed. You're a sub. I know you are, but I forget which one. I have that issue a lot. Which some people think is funny, and some people get a little offended. And when they get upset, I don't know what to say other than sorry. I'm an idiot.
Damn.
I hang out with Slacks.
There's a lot of people that are too scared to say hi to me, I think, as well.
Is that because they don't want to admit that they're your fan?
No, they're just intimidated by my stature and my Jewish lookingness.
Jesus.
I guess.
The first time we talked, I was fucking terrified of you, buddy.
I'm trying to remember the first time I ever talked to SUNSfan. When was the first time we chatted? I remember Slacks and Purge.
Wait, in person?
Well, either. I don't remember either.
I don't remember either. It's not a memorable experience.
It wasn't.
Hey, Purge, you remember the first time we met and I did your thing and you said that you didn't like that and then walked away? That was nice of you.
In person? I thought the first time we ever talked was on TeamSpeak or something.
Yeah, but I met you in person. I was like, "Hey, let me do the Purge thing." And I was like, "Hey, everybody." And then you're like, "I really don't like that." And then you walked away. And I was like, "Oh, bye." I thought you
I don't remember that at all, to be honest. But I could see myself reacting that way because people do that all the time.
I had a similar first with Purge. It was at MLG Columbus 2013, and I said, "Hey, I'm the Dota Radio guy." And you just looked at me and said, "Yeah, sorry, haven't heard of that." And I was like, "It's been on Reddit." And you were just like, "Yeah, I must have missed it. Sorry." And I was like, "Okay. Cool." See,
we love you, Purge. You're the best. You're like a cat. Like gaining your friendship and your love is good.
Zyori, we talked for like at least like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I remember it was right next to the VIP area.
I think as I started talking about it, I think you said you'd seen one of the interviews that I did with like Pyrian or something, or you had known you had knew something, or you knew Charlie. There was some connection, and then I started talking about the whole idea and stuff, and I got you hooked in. You know, the sales pitch of Dota Radio. I was trying to recruit you, but
when did we meet, Purge? We talked online back in the day where you were putting videos on our channel, but when did we actually meet for the first time? Was it TI?
It must have been TI2, right?
Yeah, TI2 was the first Dota event I think I went to.
It had to be TI2 because I wouldn't have met you otherwise. I was still living in Wisconsin then, so I think that's where we first met.
Slacks, when did we first talk?
You added me on Skype.
Okay.
You said, "Hey."
You said that with so much disgust.
You want to do fails of the week, bro?
That's when I added you?
Yeah, that was it. That was the first time we ever spoke.
Really?
Yeah. You said, "Hey, fails of the week is we're shutting it down unless you want to do it, and if you don't want to do it, then we're not doing it anymore."
Damn, you opened
I said,
with a
"Who
guilt
is
trip?
this? Hello?" SUNSfan, you said?
Wait, was this was before? No, this was after you'd already sent me a tryout video, right? An audition tape.
That's a secret. We've never actually told anybody that.
Slacks sent me. Okay, this is the thing I love about Slacks. As much crap as I give him,
for today?
It's not really. It's not even a story, but we can use it if you want. So the thing I love about Slacks is everybody talks about how hardworking he is and all that crap, and he's literally insane and maniacal and whatever the case may be, and jerks off and splooges all over the place. But when Fails was basically dead at the time, I was like, the only person that could maybe make this work with me is Slacks. But I didn't feel like contacting anybody yet, so I just made a video saying basically that I think the show is probably dead unless there's a good candidate that can somehow take Reese's place or whatever the case may be. Slack sent an audition tape where he and a friend recorded a Fails episode. They muted it because obviously me and Reeves were talking through it. muted. Wait, was that?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what
it was the last episode. We just muted you guys and then redid
Yeah,
it.
and then they did their own thing, and it was actually like a normal episode of Fails of the Week. I was like, holy crap! I mean, Slacks was a little bit annoying, but we got through those kinks. But that was the thing that impressed me more than anything is that because so many people, and Purge knows this too, and Zyori, you probably as well. People contact me all the time, like, how do I get into casting? How do I get into this? And they haven't done anything yet, right? And Slacks, nobody even contacted him directly, and he sends me an audition tape. You know, he puts in the effort and looks like an idiot to try to get the job, and he wins people over that way.
That was part 1. Part 2 was the casting couch where I had to. But overall, it was a good experience. I'd do it again. Screw it.
You're pretty good at making audition tapes, Slacks. I remember that email you sent to BTS to try to work at the summit.
Oh, God!
That
Don't give away my
good.
secrets.
That was great.
Oh,
no, I won't reveal that one, but it was good. I will say that everyone at BTS had a genuine hearty laugh and said, wow, that guy put a lot of effort into that. That's pretty cool. It didn't get you the job, but it did get you a little bit of respect, so that's good.
You know, effort's what gets you invited to stuff. I mean, look at James Harden. He's been really rolling out for the last year, and now he's the host of a major. So, I mean, that's not too deep?
He sure earned that one.
I'm just kidding. Jesus. Oh, God. All right.
Fell into his lap.
Are we doing we doing story time?
Do we have
we got
story?
anything else to cover?
Yeah,
what else we got, Zyori?
We're good. I think it's time for story time. Do we have a story? I had a story, and I told it to myself in my head, and I think it's kind of funny, but now I'm self-conscious. It's a high school story, so it has
Hit
potential.
it up, dude. Couldn't be worse than your last story.
What was my last story? It was
about someone dying and then you going to play Dota?
I like that one. Bad. I like the grim story.
When she jumped off the building and I had to decide whether to abandon my Dota game. That was a real conundrum. Okay, this is the story of the cheater in 10th grade that Zyori turned in. Okay, so it's 10th grade, honors English. Okay, I'm not a big reader, not really a great English student. I wanted to challenge myself, a lot of fun, big struggle. Okay, there was this girl in the class who I would label one of those aggressive Christian types. Okay, it was very abundantly clear early on in my life that I'm not into the religious stuff, and she was one of those folks that took it upon herself to save me from myself, because without the morals of the good word of the Bible, I'll never be able to make it through life and not burn for all of eternity, all that stuff. So a little bit of tension there, just in general. So it's finals time, you know, the room's all set up with spaced out chairs. It's alphabetical. She has a D in the last name. I've got a C in the last name. We're real close. We're sitting diagonal. And we're like 20 minutes into the test, and one of the last parts of the test was you had to read something out of the textbook and then like do the reading comprehension thing on the exam. So everybody had a textbook on their desk while they were taking the exam. She had the answer key to all of the Greek gods, their names, their Greek names, and what they were the god of. It was like this big table you had to fill out in her book. And I kind of looked over and noticed she was kind of, you know, looking under it and filling out the answer sheet. Now, the real kicker is she was in the front row, right in front of the teacher's desk. Now, this teacher, this was her first year teaching. Okay, she'd never taught a class of 10th graders, you know, post-puberty, angry, hormones flowing. They're all trying to get something over on somebody. So I'm just sitting there thinking, this is fucked up. This is stupid. I don't know any of these answers. I'm about to just cross this whole thing out and just eat the zero. All right, I'll take a 70 on this. She's cheating over there. I raise my hand and say, Miss Satarsky, Jessica's cheating. She's cheating. And the teacher says, oh, that's not funny. That is a bad joke. I said, do I look like I'm joking right now? Open her book and you will find the answer key. So she walks over, opens the book, and the look on her face is like, holy shit, it's the answer key to the test. What do I do? This wasn't in the manual. So the teacher literally looks around. Everyone else is just like, oh shit, it's about to go down. The teacher goes, all right, everybody get back to your test. Let's not have any more interruptions. Literally throws the answer key into the trash, sits back down, everything resumes. And I'm just sitting there like, what happened to the zero tolerance policy?
She should have cheated faster.
What's going on? This isn't what's supposed to happen. I thought I was going to be rewarded as a hero. I thought they were going to give me a medal. I thought they were giving me a free 100. I thought they would give me the answer key. So I'm just furious. I'm just sitting there steaming, trying to decide what to do. Do I storm out? Do I run to the principal? Do I just stand up and flip the desk over? Do I rip the exam in half? No, I keep it cool. I keep it calm. I finish the exam. I do the bullshit reading comprehension essay. I write fuck you and the big chart of the Greek gods. So we walk out. You know, the exam ends. Everyone's slapping me on the back like, dude, that was fucking awesome. I can't believe you did that and nothing happened. So I'm getting on my skateboard. I'm heading home. and I'm leaving the school, and I see this van driving, and I hear a honk, and I turn. It's the girl in the passenger seat and her mom driving. And I go, whoa, this is an opportunity. And I just wave and then do that kind of middle finger, and I flip them off. Her mom slams on the brakes, makes this face like, what? And then I just skateboard away. Haven't talked to either of them since.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I was so angry. I was so angry. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they didn't do anything.
Usually I'm not a snitch, but if somebody's that like hardcore,
it was so obvious. It just bothered me that it was so like
well,
obvious.
coming from that person, right?
And I was just thinking, what would Jesus do now, bitch? Like that's all I could think in my head when I was thinking that exam.
Oh my god!
You know, like I have not been that mad since then. Probably that was a unique experience.
Lord, good.
So there you go. That's my story this week, guys. That's all I got.
That was great, man. You got everything.
All right. Anyone else, or is that it?
God.
I have nothing.
Yes, you got anything, Purge?
Slacks, do you have any more stories that are worthy of getting you national news attention? Or are y'all out of those?
Yeah. By the way, Slacks, I feel a little bad that I just
global.
recorded that and uploaded it instantly. I woke up the next day and went, "Wow, that's got 100,000 views in 20 hours. It's on the Australian news." Okay, we're on the front page of /r videos about your terrible childhood. I'm so sorry.
You know, what are you gonna do? It's all terrible. It's all good. Kotaku, fucking Dorkly. Oh god, yeah. Thanks for that, boys. No worries. No, I have a kind of similar story to you about one of those kinds of people.
Oh yeah.
In middle school, I think it was. Maybe it was freshman year of high school. There was a girl, Marissa. I had the hots for Marissa. And,
your mic's not.
Your mic
oh, sorry. I started talking quieter because I was going back.
He was thinking about
time.
Marissa and it.
Anyway, so there's this chick, Marissa. I'm into it, and I'm trying to get with her. And she's like, "Hey, I'm having a party at my friend's house. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sounds great." So I go there, and she's like, "It's a sleepover party. Sure, you want to come?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like I'm fucking like, "Yeah, I definitely want to come." Like this is my way in. So, oh god. So my parents dropped me off at this house. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to a birthday party, you know. Get locked in, walk in, you know, I'm wearing my best. See Marissa there, a bunch of other kids. I'm like, hey, what's up, girl? And I'm thinking, this is it. Go over, this adult comes downstairs and locks the door. And he says, all right, everybody ready? We all locked in? Nobody leaves until the morning. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, this is not a good party. Why are there so many adults? Well, it turns out that it was a Christian lock-in, is what they call it. So it was this Bible thing where we all stood there. I'm not a religious dude. And I gotta tell you, that shit was one of the funnest nights I've ever had. I mean, I had no idea what was going on. Like, they were doing prayers before they ate pizza, and everyone had their head down. I didn't know that we were praying, because it took me all night to catch on to what was happening. Everyone was just looking down praying, and I was just eating pizza like, oh shit, like they're not even paying attention. I'm just gonna get this pizza. I watched Emperor's New Groove. We had charades. Oh, I forgot to mention, I didn't know it was a Christian lock-in until the night was over. I was just being an asshole to people. Like, the priest was up there, we're playing charades, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? Like, I thought it was an actual party. Nobody told me. So I'm being like loud, I'm cursing, I'm like stealing pizzas, I'm like talking shit.
So you thought the Bibles were just there for fun, just props?
I just thought they really liked the Bible. I don't know. So I'm just like, you know, I'm like, where's the booze at, huh? And the priest is like, what the fuck are you talking about? But my son, there is no alcohol here. And I'm like, I'll find it. Suffice it to say, I did not get any that night. But yeah, they let me out in the morning. I think I had the best time out of all of them. But it was a good time. Christian lock-ins are fun, dude.
I've been to lock-ins. They're not that bad.
The old bait them into religion with the girl.
I liked it, though. It wasn't the first time a girl baited me and switched me, but whatever, dude. Free pizza and The Emperor's New Groove. It was a great movie, dude. God, I loved it, dude. God, that wasn't the best one. All right, you guys want to... I'll tell you a nasty one. You want one more?
All right, one more. A good old nasty one to round this podcast out. I like it.
All right, one more girl story. Have I told you this one? Are you a gentleman? Anybody? No, okay.
I don't think so.
Another girl story. High school. I'm working at the movie theater. Great job, by the way. If you guys are out there and you're a teenager, get a job in a movie theater, all right? You get free movies. You got something to do after school. Bring all your friends there. Free popcorn. Shit's great. Working at a movie theater for a couple of years, and there's this girl that likes me. I don't know why she likes me. I'm not too interested in her. She's kind of weird and really clingy and says weird stuff, and she's in the anime club, which I had sworn off. I got way too deep into Dragon Ball Z, and I lost myself for a couple months, and I was like, I'm fucking done with anime, I'm not doing that. So anyway, this girl, she's into me, right? And I'm not into her, and I'm not... She's putting out the vibes, I'm putting them away, not into it. Anyway, one night comes out, I'm walking out, and I have my license when I'm 16, and it was like one of the last people born that could get your license at 16 before they changed it. So I have a car, no one else does. I'm walking out, and then she's like, hey, my parents aren't going to give me a ride home, can you drive me home? I'm like, yeah, I guess, because it's like raining and shit. I'm driving. Take a right, take a left, we're driving. Suddenly things start to look pretty familiar. Driving. And we drive by my house. House is on the left, and then she goes, hey, that's your house, isn't it? On the left? Like, how do you know that? Oh, don't worry about it. So we drive down the block, and then she goes, stop here. This is my house. I'm like, oh, fuck. She's close. She's close. And she goes, yeah, I seen that your house has a lot of bad things, like your fence isn't good and stuff, and my mom's the mayor of this town. But I've told her to leave you guys alone because I know that you live there. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Want to come in and, like, hang out a little bit? And I'm like, nah. Gotta go! So I drive home. A couple weeks pass. Another night happens, you know? Walking out of the movie theater. There she is again. Sad. It's raining. Because my parents, they said they'd come and they're still not here. And I'm like, all right, I'll drive you home. Driving home. And then as we pull in front of the house, she goes, oh, my God. The lights aren't on. Why aren't the lights on? And I'm like, what? And she's like, they always leave the lights on. I think someone's in my house. Can you help? Can you check it out with me? Yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to leave you here to die. We go inside her house, you know. We're walking around, turning on the lights and stuff. I'm like, all right, doesn't seem like anybody's here. We're good. She's like, okay, do you want to, like, hang out? Because I'm still a little scared. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. We're hanging out. And then she starts, like, getting real cozy up. And I'm like, not feeling this. She's like, just watch one movie. Just one movie, and then you could go, because I'm still scared. I'm like, all right. So I try to find the worst movie to watch in this situation. Going down, I'm trying to find the least romantic shit. Alien versus Predator. I slap that shit on. I'm being, like, completely... I'm just like, I'm going to make this girl hate me. So I'm watching it. I'm like, yeah, get him, Predator! Oh! I'm, like, going crazy. She's into it. She's like, yeah, fuck him, Predator. I'm like, oh, God, this is getting weird. Anyway, I'm like, all right, I have to go to the bathroom. Advance after advance, denied. Go in the bathroom. I walk out. And this chick is on the ground. And she is completely naked, dude. Completely naked. And she looks at me, and she goes, you a gentleman, Mr. Canner? And I go, yep, and I fucking leave. I go in my car, I drive home. Jesus Christ, it was the scariest shit I've ever been a part of, dude. I found out later that she had a boyfriend, popped a hole in the condom. Got that guy.
Oh,
my got a kid.
goodness.
Dude, she used you to practice manipulating people.
Yeah, that was fucking terrifying.
As soon as you were saying that, I was like, God, what was she like in 5 years? I don't even want to know.
So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Out, dude. Out. I'll never forget that. Are you a gentleman, Mr. Canner? Yes. Goodbye. So, yeah, that's my story.
The opening you are waiting for.
Watch out,
and
kids.
I am out.
Wait,
And
did you see the end of the movie, though?
Yeah, dude, Alien vs. Predator is a great fucking movie. I loved it, dude. But, yeah. Oh, God. I forget her name. Cat. Oh,
It's a good name. Good, solid,
name.
strong name.
yeah. Anyway,
That's good.
there's the tale.
So you
All
could
right.
be out there with a kid right now.
I could. I did have one, but luckily I took care of that. So.
Luckily, it was aborted. You know.
Good.
Way to just
All right.
take up that allude there.
And
buddy.
on that note, we're going to wrap up this episode of What the Duck, folks. Join us next time whenever we feel like doing it, probably a week and a half, 2 weeks from now. We're going to get another one of these guys down. We've got a lot of Captain's Draft coming up. We've got the big matchup of DC versus Steak tomorrow, 20 CET. I think it's like mid-afternoon on the East Coast, so it should be watchable for pretty much everyone. Nice in prime time. SUNSfan and Purge will be casting that, I believe. And then we'll have another break, and then starting on February 2nd, Captain's Draft will resume, and then we're going to go all the way through until the very end. So lots of Dota to keep up with, and of course MDL coming up this weekend. So thank you so much for joining us. You can find all of these podcasts on iTunes, and that catalog is at moonducktv/podcast. This file will be up on YouTube. You can find it there. But that's it. We're out. We're done. We'll see you next time.
Bye.